Hello everyone, thanks for joining in. We will start our webinar in 2-3 minutes. Let's wait for a few more people to join. Let's start the webinar. So the topic of today's webinar is the Collections AI workshop, in which we will talk about some of the improvements in RPC, promise to pay, and how to improve your overall collections recovery, and without adding additional headcount. So before we go further into the webinar and we talk about, the promise to pay and RPC and all those details, let's quickly talk about what's the reality of collections today. Like what collection agencies are facing, what are some of the challenges, where they stand today, right now. Okay. It's a quick question to, people who are in collections, people who are running their own collections operations, collection agencies. It's a quick question for them. Are you experiencing any low pickup rates when you make outbound calls? When you reach out to your debtors, are you experiencing low pickup rates in your organization? Next, we would like to understand, does your conversation feel fragmented across multiple channels? Meaning, if you send a text message, if you send a phone call, if you send an email or a letter, does those things feels fragmented or they feel connected? Which means, like, if a person is making a phone call, does the system knows that what conversation has happened in the past over text message or email? Is that context available or over phone call or not? Next, like, does your collector discover leakage after the recovery window is already gone? Which means, like, someone has promised to pay, someone has said, like, I will make a payment on 15th. Now 15th has passed, no payment has done, and your collector is realizing on 16th or 17th that someone has promised to pay on 15th, but no payment has been done. Are you experiencing missed recovery quite often? Which means, like, people are calling in, but you're not able to take calls. Are your compliances taking away your profits? Which means, like, you are getting fined, sued, or whatever it is because of non-compliances issue. Are you facing any of these problems? Well, the problem isn't always the collector effort. Collectors have always the best intention to recover, as much as they can. The main problem is the absence of system of engagement, how your collectors are actually engaging with your debtors. Like, most of you, you might already have some kind of CRM systems, some kind of system of records where you are, taking all the details of your debtors. You have all the information, how much they owe, how much they have paid. You are already taking notes also, right? Like, when you engage with any debtor, you are taking a note. But the problem is that is just a system of record. It just takes a note, but there is no action happening based on that note. It's not engaging with the debtor. It's not taking action based on what is written in that note. So the problem is, like, we are relying too much on collectors' memory, collectors, or basically humans to do the things. So we will talk about all these things in detail in our webinar, but that is the preset. Money is lost when intent is captured but not acted upon quickly. So what it means is, like, first of all, it's getting more and more difficult to reach out to debtors. Like, people are not picking up the calls, people are not responding to emails, text message responses are late. It's already difficult to recover money. But let's say you are somehow, with some systems in process, you are able to reach with the, you are able to connect with the debtor, you are able to reach them, you are able to speak with them, and you able to get the intent to pay. Like, some of the debtors have said, like, they want to make the payment. You captured that intent. People said, I will make a payment on Friday, I'll make a payment on 15th. Now, how soon are you acting upon? How soon are you creating a workflow? How soon are you, updating your system? How soon are you reaching out to them? If someone has called you in and saying that I want to make a payment, how soon are you sending the payment link? If someone has said, I want to make a payment, and you are sending a payment link 3 days or 4 days after that, it's already too late. So you need to figure out how soon are you acting. And money is lost when the intent is captured, but we do not act upon quickly, to get that payment recovered. So that was a very high level context. Now let me quickly talk about what we will cover in today's webinar. Okay, so some of the key things that we will cover in today's webinar is, first of all, RPC, which is right party contact, how important it is. I cannot stress this enough. You need to measure this very rigorously. what is your RPC rate right now? How are you working on improving that? And we will give you some tips and tricks to improve your RPC rate. So RPC is right party contact, which is how often are you connecting with the right person on the call or the SMS, email, or any other channel. Next is the PTP conversion. PTP is your promise to pay. So you call people, you get the RPC, you get to the right person. Now those right person, some of them will give you a promise to pay. They will say, I will pay tomorrow, I will pay on Friday, I will pay on 15th. So that is your promise to pay. Now, first thing is you need to track that PTP in your system, and then you need to capture or you need to measure the conversion, PTP conversion. So if 100 people are saying, I will make a payment on 10, 15, whatever it is, they are giving you a promise. How many of actually have fulfilled those promise? How many actually made payment? Because not 100% people will actually make the payment. If 100 people are saying, I will make a payment, maybe 2 or 3 or maybe 20 or 30% will actually make the payment. Right. So that is your PTP conversion. Next is broken PTP recovery. So once someone has not made a payment, so you have 100 people, 50%, let's say, didn't paid anything even after their promise date is passed, that is your broken PTP. Like your promise has been broken. Now the question is, how do you recover from those people? Let's say out of 150 people have not paid on their promise due date. What are you going to do to recover those broken promises? How are you going to re-engage with them to recover that payment? Because they had an intent to make the payment, right? That's why they have given a promise. But now what happened? Why are not they're not making the payment? What happened? Why they didn't make the payment? You need to understand all that, and for that there needs to be a system. So we will talk about that in much more detail in our today's webinar. Then we will talk about after hours intent. Like most of the collection agencies, collection teams, they work on certain hours, right? Like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. But not all debtors are interested in making payment in those hours. Some people actually make a payment at the night hours, right? So we will talk about after hours intent, which means like if a debtor is interested in making a payment after 9 p.m., at 10 p.m., 11 p.m., whatever it is, then how do we take care of those type of debtors? Is there any AI which can take calls after 9 p.m., 10 p.m.? Are you saying a message that call us tomorrow at 9 a.m.? How are you handling those after hours intent? We'll talk about that. Then we will talk about recovery or collector's hours. Recovery is happening per collector hour. If you have 5 collector and they are spending 8 hours per day, so you have like 40 collectors hour. And how much you are recovering, you can divide that by 40, and that's what give you the recovery per collector hour. So how efficiently, how effectively are you engaging your human collectors? Next, we will talk about the next action speed. So we briefly talked about that, how important it is to send, the payment link or do the next action, or if someone has asked an invoice or someone has asked for any specific question, how fast are you doing that next action? What is that speed? We will talk about that. Next, we will talk about the account prioritization. Account prioritization means like not all accounts are equal, right? Like you have some accounts where the debtor has said, I will make a payment on 10th. I will make a payment next week. Those accounts need to be at higher priority compared to those accounts where a person is saying, I can't make this payment. I want to dispute. I lost my job. I met an accident, or whatever reason it is. Because of that, they cannot make the payment right now. So you need to prioritize high priority account. That will give you better results in your recovery operations. And then we will talk about omni-channel engagement, because recovery is not just about calling, it's about omni-channel. Nowadays, debtors are available on multiple platforms like text message, email. Nowadays, WhatsApp is there, and you have your phone call. There are multiple channels. So, how are you engaging with them over multiple channels? And then finally, we'll talk about compliance, because compliance is the most important part. And you cannot just rely on humans to follow compliance. So, do you have a system in place which take care of compliance? So, those are the things which we'll mainly cover in today's session. We will move a little bit fast because we have a lot to cover today, and the time is limited. We'll try to cover everything in 1 hour. next one. So let's start. So before I start, let me give you a very quick introduction about myself, who I am and how I started this company and what I'm doing right now, how I got into collections and all that. I am the founder and CEO of a company named Vodex.ai, and we are a voice AI company. We have been doing voice AI since 2019, and even before that. So almost I have been building chatbots and voice bots since 2014. So I've got almost like 14, 15 years of experience in building chatbots, voice bots, and I started as working as a freelancer, building custom chatbots, voice bots for company. I worked for BBC in London, where I helped BBC, deploy Alexa, voice agents over Alexa. So they were working on their product where they were bringing their news and music over Alexa, and I helped them deploy that. Then I worked as a freelancer. I built a lot of chatbots, voice bots. In 2019, I started a company where we used to build custom chatbots and voice bots for different businesses, call centers, collection agencies, mid-sized businesses, multilingual chatbots, voice bots. And then in 2022, I started this company Vodex, where we focus on voice AI agents. Since 2023, we have been focusing only on collections domain. So we are focusing on building voice AI agents, which can engage in inbound, outbound phone call and help businesses recover more. So that's a quick overview about myself. We have been recognized by Google as one of the top 50 startups, voice AI startups. You can see this is one of the picture where I was with the other 50 startups that has been recognized by Google. And what I've done is in the past few years, I've done a lot of podcasts with some of the known personalities in collection space. So people like Susan Richards or Michael Lamb or Rob Graffrath. So I've done a lot of podcasts with them. I have tried to understand in depth, some of the challenges that collection agencies has faced. What are the best practices that other collection agencies follow? What are the things which is working? What is the overall thought process about AI in collections? So I've gone into too much depth about that, and try to understand as much as possible about collections world. We have been part of RMAI as well, AC as well, Armtech as well, and recently we have been part of Detlink as well. And apart from that, we have been mentioned in Inc. 42, Forbes, and a couple of other, media outlets. We have been backed by some of the known investors like Unicorn India Ventures, Pentathlon, and 100x VC. So that's very quickly about ourselves and our company. Now, let me give you a very little highlight about what this workshop is about and what it isn't about. So this is about a very high level introduction to things that are working well in collections with respect to AI. It's a operating session where I will talk about RPC, PTP, recovery, and those kind of things. How to increase your RPC, PTP, and recovery rate without actually adding more human agents. So this is the agenda for today's session. We'll talk about some of the best practices that we have followed. And this is not a product pitch that we want to very clearly highlight here. We're not going to pitch any specific product. We are just going to talk about things that have worked with us and what we have built in our company. And we will not, this is not about any quick 15-minute tooling, or, this is not just about any decision that you can take in 1 or 2 days. This is a framework. This is a process that we have seen working in other collection agencies. This is about the best practices. And if you want to implement these things in your organization, it will take time. It will take maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months. It may take a little bit time, but it's not about some quick turnaround, quick turnkey solutions. So just wanted to set the right frame here. Now, let's talk about some of the problems that collection agencies are facing. First of all, I think this is pretty much clear to everyone nowadays that the old model is not working anymore. It has hit its ceiling. What was the old model? Old model was like just hire more collectors, do more calls, put in more hours, do more manual follow up, and try to recover as much as possible. Just hit with call, call, call. And now, if you realize people are not even picking up the phone, they are marking your number as spam, they're not responding to your emails. Clearly, the old model has hit its ceiling, and things need to change. We need to change. We need to figure out what need to be done next in order to, improve the collections overall process. So it's not about just more calls, more collections, more collectors, or more hours. Now we need to think about efficiency and intelligence, and AI is here to help us. We need to think about how to figure out which account to target first. Instead of like calling 10,000 numbers a day, which 20,000, which 2,000, or which 1,000 number I can call today, which can give me better results than calling 10,000, 20,000 numbers. So that is the mental model that we need to create. We should not think about just blind volumes. Rather, we think about intelligent volumes, intelligent outreach, and figure out which account to prioritize and what best next action we should take, and that too on which channel. Not everyone is interested in receiving a call, so maybe you can send a text message or email, but who prefers what? And with the AI, it's now possible to get all this information. So again, the old equation was more call, more collector, more hours, but that just result in more cost. Recovery doesn't go up. People are asking questions like, how many calls did we made last month? How many calls did we made this month? Things like that. But rather than that, we should be asking questions like, did we took the right action at the right time? Did every account get the right information? Did we took the next best action on time? So we need to ask more intelligent question instead of just asking how many calls we made, how many text we sent, those kind of thing. We need to also understand the deliverability, how many text messages that we sent actually got delivered, how many emails actually got delivered, how many emails actually got opened, and then we need to prioritize and how many next action has been done on the right time. So if you see leakage is like someone has promised to pay, but that didn't happen. So that is not happening on the call. It happens in between the call. So you called someone made a promise, but you never sent a reminder for whatever date they have promised. They have promised to make a payment on 15th. You haven't sent any reminder on 15th. They have made a payment. They have promised to make a payment on 15th. Now it is 16th or 17th, but there is no follow-up happening. Why the payment was not happened, which was supposed to happen on 15th. Someone requested a callback saying, someone sent a text message saying, hey, can you call me back? I want to discuss this outstanding payment. Someone sent a text message, but that text message got lost because that collector was on a holiday, or that that collector was busy with something else, and you didn't have the system to track. So no one actually called back to that particular debtor to answer their question. And if you realize that the intent also get lost, someone was interested in making a payment, they asked a callback, no one called back, but then what happens? Their intent get lost. They asked for a link to make a payment, no one has sent the link. So those things are actually causing the leakage in collections. Someone has said, call me after 9 p.m., but you are like off hours, you don't work after 9 p.m. So that intent got uncaptured, and then you lost that particular recovery, which could have been like very easy recovery, but just because no one called after 9 p.m. at 10 p.m., so you lost that recovery. So there are too many ways in which leakage is happening right now in collections. So again, same thing. There is no prioritization for the account. Someone has actually showed interest in making a payment. No one reached out to them, but you are reaching out to those people who are not even picking up the call, or who are trying to dispute the payment, or who are having hardships. So, the right prioritization is not happening. And because of that, what is happening? Leakage in your recovery pipeline. One important metrics that very few people are tracking, but we should track, is your next action delay. Next action delay is again same thing. When someone has said something, a debtor has showed an interest, an intent in making a payment, but the agency, how much time the agency is taking in doing the next action, how much time the agency is doing in, let's say, sending a payment link, how much time the agency is taking in, let's say, sending an invoice, or whatever question that debtor has asked, how much time the agency is taking in answering those questions. If he is asking for a callback, how soon are you responding to their questions. Those things are very important, because if you see, in today's date, in today's world, people are very impatient, right? They want things quickly, they want things instantly. So in collections, if we don't adopt speed, if we don't respond to debtor quickly, the intent will go off very quickly. And same thing across other industries. Now things, deliveries are happening in minutes. You order something, you get things in less than hour, in a couple of minutes. So the same thing needs to happen in collections as well. If someone has sent, "Hey, send me the payment link or send me the invoice," or anything like that, you need to respond that quickly. And if you are not responding, at least you need to start measuring that. How much time are you taking in the next action? So things like a PTP reminder, are you sending the reminders on the right time? Are you sending the callback request? If someone has sent a callback request, are you calling them on the right time? If someone has missed the payment, how soon are you following up with them? Because if you see, the delay kills the intent. If you are not responding in the right time, then it is a delay, and the delay will definitely result in the non-compliance, or the basically the debtors will not pay the payment. So what we need is, we need to make a shift in our mindset. We need to think about this shift, and this shift is from just doing blind activity to doing the precision activity, or the right kind of activity. Uh, what is the blind activity, or what is the old mental model? It was again like how many calls, how many hours, how many accounts. New mental model is about precision, which is which channel should we use? Which are the debtors which prefers calling? Which are the debtors which prefer texting? Which are the debtors which prefer email? Whom should we reach out through channel? Which channel shall we reach out? You need to create that strategy. Shall we reach out through text messaging first, instead of like just blindly calling everyone? Should AI handle some of the calls, or let humans handle some of the calls? Which account should be worked on now? Again, the prioritization thing that we talked about, like you need to prioritize those accounts. So the mental model needs to be shifted from activity based model to precision based. You need to have scientific activities, scientific precision, which is required in improving your collections. So now let's talk about each one of them in a little bit more details. We understood at a very high level what is RPC, what is PTP, what is PTP conversion, what is broken PTP, what is recovery per collector. Now let's try to understand a little bit in depth about all these things. By the way, if you have any questions at any point, just add in the chat widget, chat box, and I will keep looking at the chat widget also. And if you have any question, feel free to ask here, and at the end I will respond with the answer to your questions. So for now I will just continue. So let's go through each one of them: RPC, PTP, PTP conversion, broken PTP, and recovery per collector. So first of all, RPC, as we understood, RPC is right party contact. So the important thing is, you need to first get in touch with the right party before you can actually collect, right? And you cannot collect if you are not getting in touch with the right party. So this is the most important, most basic thing you need to fix. If you are making just outbound calls, nobody's picking, or if wrong people are picking, then you have a biggest problem, which is the RPC problem. Like, you're not able to get hold of the right person. And if that is not fixed, you cannot expect PTP, you cannot expect recovery, all those things. And PTP and RPC is not a dialing problem. Right party contact is not a dialing problem. It's a strategy problem. How you are strategizing your outreach, how you are reaching out, how you are creating that strategy for reaching out to people. The biggest problem in RPC is people are not picking up the call, or wrong people are picking up the call. So you cannot just blindly make phone calls and expecting the right people to pick up the call and speak to you. So there are multiple things that you need to fix in your overall strategy. And what are a few things that you need to fix? The most basic thing is your repetition of your caller ID. So when you are making a phone call to a debtor, what number he's seeing. Is he seeing likely spam, or like is your phone automatically black blocking? Is your career automatically blocking that kind of phone number? If the debtor sees likely spam or spam call or anything like that on their phone, there's a high probability they will not pick up your call, right? So how good is the reputation of your caller ID? Some of the things you can do is you have to use a clean number, a fresh number. You have to do a careful rotation of the phone number. In case your number is marked as spam, change that number. You have to use a fresh number which is not marked as likely spam. If you have to do the branding of your phone number, it should clearly show your business name, or marked as safe or something like that. You need to continuously monitor the spam labels. Like even after few days, few months, if the number is marked as spam, you should be aware of that. And if any phone number is marked as spam or something, you just need to remove that. So most basic thing is like make sure your phone number is fitted, because if that is not there, people are not gonna pick up the call. Okay. Then a lot of people, what do they do is they use a generic phone number. uh, they use phone number from one area code, let's say from west coast, and they are dialing in east coast something, or they are dialing on a completely random area code. What we have realized is, if we use the local area code, local presence, there is a high chance that people pick up the phone. Okay. If you are calling, let's say in California, you should use the local area code within California instead of just using area code of New York or some other city or state. So, local area code, local presence, that is very much important. You need to make the phone call at the right time. Like this is the most basic thing, and it's a compliance thing also. But you cannot just call at any time. Like first of all, TCPA does not allow you to call before 8 a.m. or something, or after 9 p.m. or something. So you need to make sure you respect those timeline restrictions. But even within that, you need to understand at what time people are picking up your calls the most. And it varies, depending on what type of people you are calling, what age group. Old people might have different time, young people might have different, office goers people might have a different pickup time, those who are working from home might have different. But you need to create a map. You need to understand like at what time people are mostly picking up the calls. Like what are the best windows when you are calling and people are picking up the calls, and then respect their time zone. Like make sure that you don't call too early or too late. And you need to understand, and you need to create a map in your system that if I make a call at, let's say, Tuesdays or Thursdays at 11 a.m. or 4 p.m., then I'm getting more pickups compared to if I do Monday morning 9 a.m. or Friday evening 5 p.m. on Friday. So you need to have that data in your system, which can create a nice map, and then you can use that to strategize your outreach. That will ensure that more and more people actually pick up the call, and then your overall RPC, right party contact rate, will increase. Next important thing is you have to use the digital touch. So SMS and emails are very important. Don't just blindly call people. Send them an SMS first, send them an email first. Let them be aware of the context of the call. Why are you calling them? If they just see a random number without any context, they will not pick up the call. But if you have sent a text message saying that, hey, this is regarding an important payment that was due on 15th, you were supposed to make a payment, but you didn't pay it. So I'm calling you to understand why you haven't made the payment, and here happy to help you resolve some of the issues you might be facing. So if you send that text message and then you send a call, the probability of pickup increases. People will be more confident in picking up your call. And then another thing that you need to make sure is like you prioritize your high intent account. If you don't prioritize, again, people, you might be calling the wrong type of people. Like you might be calling the numbers where the number is switched off, or no one is picking on those numbers, or the number might be of the wrong person. You are actually calling Mr. X and some Mr. Y is picking up the call. So you need to understand whether the numbers are correct or not. You are prioritizing those accounts correctly. If you have prior conversation with some of the people, those numbers need to be contacted first. So implementing all these strategies will definitely improve your RPC rates. And finally, it's very, very important to follow the compliance. So in collections, we have like 7 in 7 rule. I'm pretty sure all of you know what is 7 in 7, but in case you don't know, there's a rule which says you cannot call a debtor more than 7 times. You cannot attempt more than 7 times in a week. And even if you got connected once, even if it is a third attempt or fourth attempt, you should not call them again for next 7 days. Okay, so that is 7 in 7 rules. Call hours are like you cannot call before 8 a.m. or after 9 p.m. DNC is very much important. If the person says, do not call me, why are you calling me? Don't ever call me again. Stop calling me. Anything like that, you should never ever call that number again. And you should put that number in DNC list, do not call list. Okay, so those are the thing which is very, very important to improve your RPC rates. That's what we talked about quickly. Now let's talk about some of the things that you have to do in order to do the prioritization or in order to improve the RPC. AI is here and AI is here to help us. So AI can help us answer some of the questions like which account should we call now? Based on all the previous interaction. Like let's say if someone has said call me and it's for today's date at so and so time, definitely you should prioritize calling those numbers where someone has said call me on so and so date rather than just calling a brand new number where you have no previous context, no previous conversation. Okay. And then decide which channel to use, which time window works best, and when to route the call to a human agent. You should not just randomly call people, but use AI to strategize, which channel to use, which account to call, when to route a human, best hours for making calls. For different account, the best hours could be very different. For let's say first 10 accounts or like XYZ accounts, the best hours could be like Tuesday 12 p.m. For example, for certain other accounts, the best time could be Thursday 5 p.m. So you need to maybe group those accounts based on best hours, which time you should call, and use all these methodologies in order to improve your RPC rates. What you can do is you can create a heat map kind of thing. And heat map is basically, if you see, what you can do is on one axis, you can plot whether, the account are low volume, mid volume, high volume, or premium accounts. Like if your accounts ranges between $500 to $10,000, what you can do is you can plot them on x-axis, and on y-axis you can plot the time. 6 a.m., 10 p.m., 2 p.m., 6 p.m. And you can see the pattern there. If you are calling low volume account at 6 a.m. or 10 a.m. or 2 p.m., when are you getting the most pickups? Similarly, if you do it for medium size account where people owe more than 500 to less than $2,000, when is you are getting the most pickups? And then again, you can do it the same for a high volume account. Like if the balance is 2000 and less than 10,000, when are you getting the most pickups? So that will give you a heat map, that will give you a pattern, that high volume accounts where the person owe more than 2000, less than $10,000, those people are picking most at 10 a.m., and the premium people are mostly picking up at the 6 p.m. So that pattern will help you in strategizing your next action for next accounts. So that is very, very important to measure, because if you don't measure that, if you're just randomly doing that, then you cannot create the strategy because you don't have the data. And if you're wondering how to do all this, there is a system that we have developed, but we will talk about that in the last. For now, just try to understand that this is very important to do. How to do that, we will discuss that in later part of the webinar. So we talked about RPC, right party contacts. Let's talk about the promise to pay. And this is very, very important to understand that PTP or promise to pay is not money. Many people think that they got the promise to pay, their job is done. Now the payment will happen. But it's not. Payment doesn't happen just because someone said, I will make a payment on so and so date. They might say, I will make a payment on 15th. They might say, I will make a payment on 25th. They might say, I will make a payment next month. but that's just a promise. That's not actual payment. So you need to focus on PTP conversion. How many promises are actually converting? So here my question is, what is your current PTP conversion rate? If you are getting 100 promises in a day or in a month, how many of those hundreds are converting into actual payment? Is it like 80 out of 100 actually makes the payment? Is it like 50 out of 100? Is it like 10 out of 100? What is your actual PTP conversion rate? If you're not measuring that, start measuring that, because that is where your revenue is leaking. If you're not measuring PTP conversion, that means people are promising, but those promises are not converted, and you have no idea like how many people are promising but not paying. So start measuring PTP conversion rate. A weak PTP is just a note. A strong PTP is a workflow, which means like people might promise to make a payment, and your collector might just add a note in your system saying that so and so person said he will make a payment on so and so date. You just added a note, but that's, if you see, is a very weak PTP, because person said I will make a payment on 15th, but how much is the payment? Is it $100? Is it $1,000? How much will they pay? Are they gonna pay full amount? Are they gonna pay partially? Uh, then you need to understand what is the payment method. Are they going to pay through bank transfer? Are they going to pay through ACH? Are they going to pay in cash or check? What is the, the actual method through which they will make a payment? Then you need to understand whether, is the intent solid for making a payment or not? And then you need to have the reminder set. Call should go 2 days before the promise date. Call should go on the date of promise date. If person has failed to make a payment on the promise date, then a new workflow should start, which is broken promise workflow. So you see, it's if it's just a note setting in our system, it's a very weak P2P PTP. You need to have a complete workflow for promise to pay recovery. So yeah, we need to understand what is your actual PTP conversion rate right now. Mostly we have seen it is around 40-45%, but in different agencies, it also depends on the type of accounts you have. There are a lot of collection agencies who have very old account. Someone has taken a home loan, but he hasn't paid the EMI from 2015 onwards, 2016 onwards. So it has been 10 years he has taken loan, but he hasn't made a payment. So there it's very different. The PTP conversion might be very different compared to just a few people who are like who just forgot to make payment of their EMIs or credit card dues or things like that, and it is only less than 30 days past due. So DPD is less than 30, days past due is less than 30. So they just forgot, like, and it has been only 5 days, 10 days after their due date. So in those cases, you will see the actual PTP conversion is much higher compared to people who have not paid for 5 year, 10 year, or who have disputed. It also depends on type of debts you have, type of accounts you have. So if you see, you need to bucket your debtors, your accounts into different categories, and then you have to calculate what kind of PTP conversions are happening. What is the actual conversion rate you are seeing? We need to think about PTP framework. PTP framework is like when someone promises to make a payment, don't just capture, like, don't just add a note in your system which says this person will make a payment on 15th. You need to actually create a framework where you capture more detailed information, like how much they're gonna pay. Is it like full amount, partially? Can they pay $100, $200, whatever it is? You need to be very, very clear on what amount they will pay. You need to capture the date, on what exact date they will make. They cannot just say, I will make a payment next week or next month. Are you going to pay on 15th or 25th or 1st of next month? Then you have to capture the method. Is it like ACH? Is it like bank transfer? Is it cash? Is it credit card? Is it check? Is it, they will come to office to make a payment, whatever it is. But you need to be very, very clear on what method they are going to use to make the payment. Is it, payment over phone call or online through self payment portal? There are multiple ways to make the payment, but you need to be very clear on what method they're going to use to make the payment. Next, we need to set up the complete reminder system. So reminder should go 2 days before the due date. Reminder should go on the due date. Reminder should go after the due date. And then after the due date, you need to start a complete broken promise workflow, which means it's not just about sending a call after the due date if they have not made the payment, but you have to maybe send a text message also, and you might have to send an email also, and then you have to make a very different type of calls, and you need to define. You might be interested in asking, hey, what happened, why you didn't make the payment, and things like that. This is the complete framework that you need to have in your organization if you want to stop leakage happening at the PTP level. So yeah, if you are seeing a lot of failed promises, people are promising but they are not making payment, then it's a kind of high intent recovery opportunity that you have, but you are missing out on those because you don't have enough systems in your organization to capture the PTP and convert those broken PTP into actual recovery. Most of time it is the game of speed, and if there is a broken promise that is happening, you need to have speed, because if you take too much time after the broken promise, the intent will be gone forever. So you need to be really really fast in doing the next action after the promise is broken, and your total recovery depends on how fast you take action after a broken promise. So what and AI can definitely help you in this. So what AI can do, AI can automatically check, what date the person has promised. Like if the person has promised to make a payment on first, the AI can go through the call recording or your text message, and it can automatically set a reminder for that particular date. And then we can have a system which automatically checks whether the payment is done on the due date or not. And then AI can automatically trigger a text message, based on, if the promise is broken. And the reminder can go on the same day, text message or email, and which says like, you were supposed to make a payment, that didn't happen. What is the reason? May I know if I can help you? And it needs to be done quickly. You cannot delay that for 2 days or 3 days because intent will be gone in 2 3 days. It needs to be the same day, because it needs to be fresh on the debtor's mind. Then if the person do not responds on the same day on your text message or email, then the AI call needs to go. Humans can also call, but generally, if human get busy in something and they don't see the node, there is a high chances that they will not do the call. So what you need to do is rather let the AI do the initial calling, because it's not a very complicated call. You just need to call the person and ask, you were supposed to make a payment on so and so date. That didn't happen. May I know what is the reason? And the person might explain the reason. If the person don't pick up the call, again the AI will call after some time. If the person says, hey, I got busy, I had to travel, I was sick, I met an accident, anything it is, and if the person say, can I reschedule this for next Friday or next week or something like that, so the AI can capture all those details, and AI can set a new payment plan, and AI can automatically send a payment link also if required. And this whole system needs to be automated, because if these things are not done in timely manner at speed, then this will ultimately cause the leakage in your revenue recovery. Next very important metric to measure is that how much can you recover within 7 days after a promise is broken. So in our previous example, we saw that, let's say 100 people have promised to make a payment in this week, and out of that only 40 has actually made the payment. That means 60% is your broken PTP. 60 people said, I cannot, like 60 people have not actually made the payment. Now you need to track out of those 60 people how much money you can get recovered within next 7 days. Okay, because those 60 people have promised to make a payment, they had intent to make a payment, but for some reason they didn't paid. And you need to be very very fast in getting those payments within 7 days, because after that the intent will be gone. They will spend the money on something else. Probably they might have money, but after 7 days they will spend money on something else, and you won't be able to recover that. That is one important metrics. Another metrics to track is recovery per collector hour, which means like if you have five collectors and if they are spending 8 hours per day, you have 40 collectors hours, in a day. And how much money you are collecting in a day. If you are collecting, let's say $4,000, and you have 40 hours, five collector, 8 hours per day. So it's like you are collecting $100 per collector hour. So that is what you need to track. How much is your recovery per collector hour? And you need to make sure that your human agents spend less and less time on basic things like basic reminders, simple inbound queries, sending payment links, manual tracking or updating systems. And your human agents are spending more time on negotiation, hardship, dispute, complex scenario, complex objection. So your goal is to let your human agents focus on more of the complicated, complex work which require more human agents, and let AI handle the simple stuff for which you don't need a human. A simple reminder or a simple update in your CRM or a simple sending of payment link or a simple, just inbound call handling or answering inbound simple calls. Those things doesn't really require your human collector hours. So those things can be delegated to AI and your human agents can focus on dispute negotiation or complicated scenarios. People are thinking that AI is here to replace humans. That's not the case. AI is not replacing human. It is making humans more productive. It is focusing on repeatable task, repeatable work where, like things which can be easily done and which for which there is a repeatability. It is taking care of those kind of things. For complicated things, for complicated scenario, complicated discussion where a human judgment is required, still need a human collector. So human and AI needs to work hand in hand. Now, let's talk about some other metrics in the age of AI era that we need to track. And there is a saying by Peter Drucker that whatever get measured get improved. The idea is to measure as much as possible the right things so that we can improve those things. So what are some of the things that you need to measure? Your account intent score. That is the first metric I would say you need to measure. And AI can definitely help you in measuring that. So the idea is like you should stop treating all the accounts equally. You have, let's say, 10,000 accounts in your system. Not all 10,000 accounts have equal weightage, right? Some accounts have higher priority because they might have engaged in the past, they might have shown intent to pay, they might have clicked on the links, your self-serve portal, or they might have, responded on the phone call. So those accounts need to be prioritized higher versus other accounts in your system, uh, which are not picking up the call, which are not responding to your text or email, or those accounts where the people, not the right person is picking up the call. You call someone, someone else is speaking, their spouse or something, or they might be having some kind of hardship. It's like they lost their job, they are unable to pay because they don't have money. So you need to really score those accounts, so, and you need to act on those accounts which have higher score. So ultimately you get the higher recovery from your account. So the idea is stop treating all accounts equally. You have some high priority account, you have some low priority account. If you focus on high priority account, you will get better recovery. Again, not all promises are equal. So the another metric that you can track is promise quality score. People are promising, I will make a payment. I will make a payment on 15th. I will make a payment next week. I will try to do it next week. But if you see, if someone is just saying, I will try to do it next week, it's a very weak promise. So the promise quality score is very low. Versus if another person is saying, I will make $100 payment on Friday, November 14th, and I will do it via ACH. If you see, that is a much stronger promise because the person is giving the amount, person is giving the method of the payment, person is giving the date. You have everything you need to know. So that is a very high quality promise. So you need to capture the quality of the promise, and then once you have high quality promise, you need to set up the workflows also to back up in case the quality promise is broken. If it's a low weak quality promise, there are high chances it will be broken. But if high quality promise breaks, you need to have a automated workflow which starts triggering the person start getting email, text message, calls if the person don't pay on so and so date. So the lesson here is, or the metrics that we need to track here is promise quality score, because not all promises are equal. Then the next metrics that we need to track is after hours intent capture. Your team goes offline. You stop working after 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or 7 p.m., whatever it is. But that doesn't mean debtor will not call you. They might call you at 10 p.m., at 11 p.m., 2 a.m., anytime. And you need to create a system which can answer their calls at any time, and so that they can get their questions answered. It might be possible that you get an inbound call during lunch hours. It might be possible that you get a call at 2 a.m. So you need to have a system in place which can answer their queries, help them get their answer their queries. And if it's simple thing like a basic question, maybe AI can answer that question, and then maybe they are just interested in getting the payment link. AI can send the payment link, and then you are actually recovering the payment when you are sleeping at 2 a.m., or when you are having a lunch time, or when you are in a holiday, or outside weekends or something like that. So the important thing is like you need to set up a after hours intent capture system. Then another metrics that we have to track is self-service payment rate. There are a lot of debtors who don't want to engage with a human, or receive a phone call, or text message or email. They don't want to engage with any of that. They just want to get the payment link and make the payment. And you need to encourage that. You need to make sure that more and more people are using the self-service options, because if you see, if they are using self-service option, it is helping you save a lot of cost. You don't need to pay on calling, you don't need to pay on text message, you don't need to pay on email, you don't need to pay your human collectors. It is happening in auto mode. So you need to prioritize self-service portals, self-service payment methods, and you need to figure out a way like how I can encourage more and more people to use self-service option to make the payment. And you need to track that. You need to track what is the self-service payment rate. If your zero collector minutes are used, especially very valuable, right? Especially on small balance account. Imagine you have to collect $50, $100, $150, which is like small amounts. You don't want to spend any money on human collectors, or you don't want to spend too much money on AI, or texting or emailing, because those are like small accounts. And if you really not saving money on recovering those small accounts, then you will be losing money on those small accounts. So actually zero collector minutes used is much better. So you need to prioritize self-serve for those type of accounts. Then the important thing is the context continuity rate. Context continuity rate, I would define, is like person nowadays engages over multiple channel. They might engage over text message. They might just send a text saying I lost my job. Then the AI might call that person, and in that they might open up a little bit more about their hardship context, what happened, uh, when they will get their salary, how much time they need. Those kind of detail they might provide over AI call. And then a human agent might reach out, or another AI call can go, or an email can go. So the thing is, the conversation doesn't happen over just call or just one channel. It happens over multiple channels, right? The collector might do a chat with the person over WhatsApp, or any other, like the portal or any other chat tools. So you have context in multiple places. Now, it is very, very important that you pass the context using a memory layer from one channel to another channel. There needs to be a common memory layer which remembers each and everything about the debtors, and it passes the information, whether it's hardship or lost job or health issues or anything like that. It passes the information from one channel to another channel. which will definitely improve the experience of your debtor. Like imagine your debtor sent a text message saying that I lost my job, I cannot make a payment for next 3 months. Please don't call me. And next day, a call goes, maybe AI or a human call, and it says debtor, hey, when are you going to make a payment? Imagine what kind of frustration they might feel. Like they might think like you don't have the context continuity, right? I just sent you a text message saying I lost my job, I cannot make a payment, and now you're calling me and saying like when I will make a payment. Haven't you seen my message? Like it gives a bad experience, it gives a bad reputation to your collection agency. So especially nowadays when you have more and more channels coming, now we have LinkedIn, Snapchat, whatnot, like TikTok and all. So you need to have context continuity, that is very very important, so you need to measure that. And finally, the most important thing is the compliance exception rate. Make sure you are fully compliant with all the rules, regulations, and you need to make sure you track every exception. If your calls are missing disclosure, if your calls are like missing the timing, the right timing to call, if you are not capturing the opt-outs in the right manner, if someone has said don't call me but you are again calling that person, those are like exceptions that you need to track. You need to track that how many times that is happening, how many time you are missing the disclosure, how many times you are calling someone who has said don't call me. And those things needs to be captured because those things need to be reduced, because overall it is the risk on your organization. If you are making exceptions on compliances, there is huge risk. There could be fines, potential shutdown of your collection agency. There are higher risks involved, so compliance needs to be taken very very seriously. And next thing that is very important is omni-channel engagement. We already covered at a high level, but this is very important because if you don't have a omni-channel engagement and you don't have context across multiple channel, then it's just more noise. You have channels like phone call, SMS, email, voicemail, web portals, humans. They need to share the context. They need to share the memory, and there should be one source of truth. Otherwise the debtors won't be able to trust you, and the trust just collapse. Same thing, every channel needs to have the same memory. And then every conversation should always start from what is already known. If you know what is the debtor frustration, if you know what is the hardship they are going through, if you know what questions they have asked in the past, you should not ask those questions again, because otherwise it you will lose trust from them. They will think that you don't have system, you are not a professional collections team, you don't track, you don't take a note of everything what we talked about, and it will reduce your overall collection percentage and your RPC quality. I will move a little bit fast so that we can cover everything in time. Next, let's talk about the compliance. Compliance needs to be by default in your system, in your organization. Compliance is not just a review process. Compliance is not an afterthought. Compliance is a guardrail. Compliance needs to be taken care of before you even do your outreach or your call. It's not just about reporting, compliance failures, compliance issues. You need to take care of what you can do today in your system, in your organization, so that compliance failures or compliance exception do not happen in your organization. And how can you follow those guardrails so that you are safe, compliant, and you are following all the rules, regulations. So you need a system that prevents the mistake. You don't need a system which just reports the mistake. What is a system that reports a mistake? Maybe a call analytics tool. It will go through all your call recordings and it will say, okay, in these calls, there is no disclosure. In these calls, the person say, hey, don't call me, but still your collector has made the call. In these particular scenarios, so and so compliance exception happened. So those are like your post mortem, your post call analytics tool. But what you need is a system that can prevent you from making those mistakes, which can block you before you or your collector does any kind of mistakes. So what does that mean? A collector dials a account, but that account is blocked. The person has in the past said that don't call me. That account is blocked. The system should automatically block that at dial. Call shouldn't even go if the number is in do not call list, DNC list. That is what your system should do to prevent the mistake. You try to call someone outside the office hours, the system won't let you place the call. It will give you a warning that you are calling outside the office hours. Sorry, we cannot trigger this call. If someone is calling someone for, after the dispute, then the follow up will be paused for a human review before the call goes to someone who has disputed the amount. So the system needs to take care of things, compliances, and allow, like for example, 7 in 7 limits. So 7 in 7 limits is like you cannot call someone more than 7 times in a week, and if you are connected with the debtor, you need to like give a cool off period of 7 days before you can reach them again. So that compliance can be taken care of the system. The system already knows which debtor you have called, so automatically block any other calling attempts in next 7 days before you can reach out them again. It should give you a warning that you spoke with this debtor yesterday, you cannot call them and for next 7 days. So those things need to be inbuilt into the system, so that if you are trying to do anything which is outside the compliance, which is outside the allowed rules, then the system should automatically block that, and you by default will be allowed to do things which are supported in the guardrails, which are allowed by the compliance. So even by mistake, you won't be able to bypass the compliance. So that is the system you should have in your organization. And if you're wondering about how to implement these system, how to have these kind of system in the organization, that we have built one. It's not the only system, but we have built one. We'll talk about that towards the end of this webinar. But there are other tools also in the market which can help you implement some of these compliance. Important thing is you need to have a system like this, because you cannot just rely on human collectors brain or thought process or just their memory. So you need to have a system which has inbuilt 7 in 7 frequency, inbuilt call hours, inbuilt opt out, do not call list tracking, automatically opt out from cease and desist request, or automatically hold or pause if there is a dispute, automatically flag if there is a bankruptcy involved, automatically make sure that mini Miranda goes on all the calls, automatically follow the state regulations and rules, automatically capture the consent and make sure that call happens only if the consent is there, recording and audit, and account status. So those things need to be inbuilt in the system. Quickly, let's talk about data. So data is very, very important in the age of AI, because AI is all about data. You need to have strong internal data, and actually, a lot of collection agencies do have strong internal data. What is strong internal data? It could be like things like payment history, call logs, the placement performance, the liquidation curve, the agent notes that you have added in your system, the RPC data, settlement history, client level performance. But this internal data is only telling you what is happening inside your agency. What is happening when you call someone, what is happening when you try to reach out. So it's only telling about what is happening inside your organization, inside your collection agency. But if you see, it does not give you the full picture, it gives you a partial story. What does that mean? It tells you who paid before, what did they said, who is your best collector, what is the RPC, those kind of thing, liquidation rates and all. But it does not tell you, can they pay in the future? What is the kind of economic pressure they are facing? What is their job market like? There are a lot of things changing in the job market nowadays, right? So does that impacting your debtor? Is he paying his rent or energy bills, things like that? Is he paying for his hospital, like is he going through any kind of hardship and all? So your internal data does not answer those type of questions. It's like it's your rear view mirror. It's just give you the past data. It does not tell you the future data. If you see, the consumer ability to pay depends a lot on the environment in which they are living, right? A consumer might be paying their credit card bills or their home loan EMIs or their student loans on time, but their ability to pay will change depending on the environment. And if you see nowadays, a lot of things are happening in the environment, right? So if the rent pressure increases, if the food cost goes up, if the energy cost goes high, if there is any kind of unemployment for that person, if the wage does not grow on time, if the household income goes down, the economy of the city or country or state goes down, if their disposable income goes down, if there is a debt burden of any type, if you see, whatever is happening in the environment, that is impacting a lot the ability to pay. So the question is, how can we know whether a debtor is able to pay or not based on the some of the external data? These are the things that we should be aware of so that we can strategize our collection strategy. If person has good household income, if a person has good surplus amount, there is a higher chance he will make a payment versus a person who is not able to pay their rent, electricity bill, who has lost their job, those kind of thing. And for that, uh, a company with whom we have partnered called Debt Catalyst can help us. So think of it like a data layer. And what they can help us is provide exactly all these type of information from your debtors, whether they have any kind of financial hardship, what is their household income, all those kind of things. So this is not the only company. This company actually, collects data from different bureaus, credit bureaus like Equifax, Experian, and Credit Union, and credit different type of credit bureaus. So it collects data from different sources, and then it try to understand their debt to income signal, their housing burden, which is really a very good tool if you want to understand your debtors completely. You have internal data, but you need this external data as well to understand your debtors completely. What is their discretionary spend, what is their income, what is their employment situation, what is their housing burden. If you have clear picture like what is their household income and those kind of thing, you can strategize. Like a person who has $5,000 discretionary spend, he can easily make a payment versus a person who has $1,000 or $500 or zero monthly income, their $0 their monthly household income. If they don't have monthly household income, there is very difficult chance they will be able to make a payment. So Debt Catalyst can definitely help you in getting some of these data. Stop just asking, can this person pay? But you should try to understand when should we contact them, which channel, which payment option works best for them, and whether AI can handle that or a human. So, with that, we are coming towards the last part of the session. The thought process that we need to have in our collections operation is we need to have a three-layered approach. First is your intelligence layer, which gets the data, account, the contactability, internal data, external data, prioritization, all that internal, intelligence layer, your prioritization. Then you go to your workflow layer, which is where you decide the next best action, your automated situation, you know automated workflows, PTP workflows, broken PTP workflows, those kind of thing. And finally you have your execution layer, where your human agents and AI work hand in hand to get the most out of your debtors, most amount collected. And if you think, you can broadly segment your teams into three lanes. So one is your AI only, which is mainly about the low hanging fruits, low balance reminders, simple tasks where the AI can handle most of the stuff. So you can have AI only lane, which is only about AI doing most of the stuff. You don't need any human involved in those kind of things, because those are like most basic stuff. Then you have your AI first lane, which is where AI will initiate the conversation, but it will hand off to human agents. So, like for example, RPC attempts, PTP capture, uh, payment plan, or callback scheduling, or broken PTP follow up. Those are the type of thing where AI can initiate the conversation and hand over to human if required. And then eventually we have your human first, where situations like hardship, dispute, bankruptcy mentions, high amount balance, or settlement negotiation, those things should be taken care of your human first lane. So you can decide which task should go in your AI only lane, which task should go on AI first lane, and which task should go on human first lane. So that way you can adapt AI in your organization very easily. And then AI doesn't just remove your human expertise, it protects it from being wasted on repetitive work. So we talked about this in the past as well. Like AI is here to help your human agents. It's here to increase their efficiency. It's not just about like as most of the people think AI is here to replace human. That's not the case. It is here to make human more productive, more efficient, and less humans can do much more tasks than it was possible before, because AI is protecting them from wasting their time on repetitive work. Some of the cases where your human agents should be focusing on, like complex objections, some hardship, negotiations, dispute, those kind of thing. Now let's quickly talk about Vodex DROS. So what we have built, what is exactly DROS, and what type of problems we are solving. So DROS is one of the product that our organization has built. It is DROS is a short form or acronym for Debt Resolution Operating System. Okay, and it's not just a AI calling tool; it's a complete operating layer for debtor engagement. And debtor engagement means how do you do a omni-channel engagement with your debtor. How the things that we focus on most in DROS is how can we improve the right party contact for collection agencies or collection teams in any kind of businesses, or how can we convert more PTP into actual payment. How can we recover the broken PTP. How can we handle the after hour scenarios. How can we do the intelligent routing based on the requirement, the request from the debtor. How can we make sure that the context is shared across multiple channels. How can we make sure that compliance is always followed, and it is followed in advance, not just a afterthought. It's not just that the compliance will be reported, but how can we make sure that compliance are not broken, compliance are not bypassed. So we have built all those functionality in one operating layer, which is what we are calling as DROS. And ultimately, how can you get more recovery with less headcount? So, a simple example of what a DROS workflow does. If a debtor says, I will pay $100 next Friday, it will first of all try to capture all the details over the phone call. The AI will make the phone call and it will try to capture all the detail. Give me the date, give me the amount, give me the commitment that you will pay on this so and so date. And then it will capture that in the system. It will track all those things automatically. If the debtor needs a payment link or something, it will send the payment link on the due date, and even before the due date it will send a reminders. And then it will automatically configure the workflow that if the person has not made the payment on so and so date, then it will automatically start a broken promise workflow, which means it will start sending a reminder text message. It will start sending phone calls with a different type of conversation, and if required it will even escalate to a human agent. So that is what DROS does. It basically tracks all the things before reaching out a debtor. Is the window okay, time window okay, is it the right time to opt, is it the right time to reach to debtor, have they requested for opt out? If not, then only I can reach. 7 and 7 rule is the compliance met, which means we have not contacted this person in last 7 days. Is there any dispute? Is there any cease and desist? Is there any bankruptcy? Is there any state mentioned rule? It will check all those things and then only it will go and do the outreach to the debtor. Otherwise, if any of these things are not right, if there is any dispute or opt out request or things like that, then it will automatically block the outreach. So it asks all those questions, and then based on that only, does the outreach, so that compliance are always met. There is no, breakage of the compliance rules. There is no bypass of the compliance rules. So what we have seen so far is you need intelligent execution. Intelligent execution is like intelligence plus execution. Intelligence is like which account to prioritize, who has the capacity to pay, who needs settlement, what channel works, who needs a human, those kind of thing. And execution is your AI call, SMS, payment link, PTP follow up, broken PTP follow up, human escalation. Because as we discussed, whatever you measure gets improved. So start measuring all those things. Your next action delay, PTP conversion rate, broken PTP, how much you can recover from broken PTP in next 7 days, how much are you recovering per collector, your after hours intent capture, context continuity rate, compliance exception rate, and your self-service payment rate. Because as we discussed, whatever get measured gets improved. Well, the agencies that won't make most calls, they will make fewest wasted touches, which is a summary of what we have talked so far. So if you want to win, don't just make more and more calls. See, where are the wasted touches happening? Where are you calling where there's no response or no prioritization happening, or PTPs are happening, but it is not converting into payments. PTP conversions are not happening. So don't just focus on more and more calls. Focus on fewer wasted touches. Okay, I quickly wanted to play a testimonial or a feedback from one of our client. Uh, he has been using our DROS system for his organization, and this is what he has to say. So let me quickly play this. Looks like some technical issue. Anyway, we have limited time as well. So maybe I will just move forward. This is one of the demo call that we had for payment recovery. So let's see if that works.
Hello, this is Tim calling from the Credit Service. May I speak with John Smith?
Yeah, this is John.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Let me pull up your account. Mr. Smith, for security purposes, please verify the last 4 digits of your social security number.
4124.
Thank you for verifying that information. Federal law requires me to inform you that I am a debt collector. And this is an attempt to collect a debt, and any information obtained will be used for that purpose.
Done.
This is in reference to an open balance in the amount of $4,500. I would like to know your intentions in resolving the balance in full today.
I can't do it today. However, it will take some time, maybe after 30 to 45 days.
We cannot wait that long. The payment must be made within 7 days. Can you make the payment within that time frame?
No.
I'm sorry, but we cannot accept a payment date beyond 7 days. Please provide a date within the next 7 days.
I will not be able to pay in the next 7 days.
Thank you for your time. Please note that collection activities.
So what are the options? Do you have any options for me?
We can explore setting up a payment plan that works within your budget. How much can you to pay within the next 7 days?
In the next 7 days, I will not be able to pay anything, but if you have any options post 7 days, can you let me know about it?
I understand your situation, but we must adhere to the 7-day payment deadline. Is there any amount you can manage to pay within that period, even if it's a partial payment?
Yeah, say about $100.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. I will note that you will make a payment of $100 within the next 7 days. Would you like to make this payment online, over the phone, or by mail?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Would you like to make the $100 payment online, over the phone, or by mail?
I'll do it over the phone.
Before you make a payment, please be aware that your payments will be processed and billed by a third party, PayScout. Hello, this is Tim.
All right, so that's a quick demo that we did for one of our client. So you need to figure out what's your next step. You need to figure out where is leakage happening in your organization right now? Where is the leakage happening in your recovery operations? You need to look for, is it, happening due to delayed follow-up? Is it happening due to weak PTP workflows? Is it happening due to broken PTP leakage? Is it happening due to poor after-hour coverage, disconnected channel, unclear prioritization, low recovery per collector hour? Whatever it is, you need to discover, you need to figure it out where the leakage is happening right now in your organization. And if you want our help in figuring this out for you, or if you want us to implement AI in your organization, or if you want to discuss how you can implement AI collection strategy in your organization, then feel free to book a meeting with us. And we have a special gift also for those people who stayed till here. So, what is that special gift? So, I'll be offering free 2000 minutes of AI calling for only those people who are interested in booking the meeting, and only first 5 people will get this free 2000 AI calling minutes. All you need to do is book a meeting with us. So I will send you a link in the chat window shortly, and you will receive the link via emails as well. Book a meeting with us, and we will give you a free 2000 AI calling minutes. So all you need to do is just book a meeting, and we will help you figure out, the leakage that is happening in your organization right now. We will help you figure out how you can implement AI collection strategy in your organization, and we will help you figure out, how you can increase your recovery. So all you need to go do is just go to DROS.ai, and you can book a meeting directly from there. DROS.ai. I will send the link in the chat also, but you can just go to DROS.ai and book a meeting from there. So with that, we are coming towards the end of the session. So thank you so much for staying till here. And if you have any question, please feel free to put in the chat window. And now I will take a couple of questions. So yeah, happy to take your questions. Thank you. Okay, one question I have is most important source of payment. You need to make sure that your source of payment, whatever different source of payments you can offer, you present all those source of payment to your customers. Customers might be interested in making payment over phone call also. They might be interested in making payment over a link also, self-serve portal, or they might be interested in doing a ACH transfer, or they might be interested in making a cash payment or check. So you need to offer all the payment, and you need to track the the pattern that you are seeing, like which is the most used source of payment in your organization. All right, I don't see any other question. So with that, I think we can wrap up this webinar. So I hope you all enjoyed this webinar, and I hope you learned something about how to improve your collections, how to improve your processes, how to improve your RPC, your PTP recovery, and overall, how can you improve your recovery for your collection organization. So with that, thank you so much, and we'll send you the emails for booking a meeting with us. So looking forward to speaking with you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.